Hello guys. Hello guys. Create highlight, share, copy. Hi guys, welcome to the live stream, and today I am doing something. I'm just going to tweet about it. I am doing a live stream right now, answering questions about being a Flutter GDE. Hopefully I can answer your questions. Do join. See ya. Okay, done. Should I put a GIF? Should I put GIF? Yeah, I should put answer questions. I don't know, just tweet it. Hi guys, welcome to the live stream. Good day, good day. How to be a Google developer expert? It's like the first question. Thank you guys for coming. Hi Van Helsing, my consistent viewer. Hi Mini Geek. Yeah, so I just posted like a live stream. I mean, I tweet the live stream about it as well. Thanks for taking my question. How to be a GDE? I think other than you, Mini Geek, there's a lot of people who is asking how to be a Google developer expert. Well, before that, I want to do some coding. I haven't like coded for a very long time, you know. So if you guys don't know, I'm creating this Learn Flutter app, and I'm just going to live stream about how I do this coding. So let me just like you know, just see what I'm left with. Yeah, so I'm really sure what I can do about it. So I have like this app that I've been building for the past weekends. Okay, for the past 2 weekends I didn't really and I only but never share how. Yeah, I mean, you literally can Google actually how to be a Google developer expert. Yeah, but I will share on later part. But for now, I just want to get my mind warmed up with code so I can, like, you know, answer properly, if that makes sense. I don't know. Okay, so for now, maybe I'll answer lah, since the title is how to be GDE, right? So for myself, right, I didn't really expect myself to be a Google developer expert. Yeah, that wasn't something that I wanted to achieve. You know, I wanted to achieve other things other than being a Google developer expert. So from my experience so far, like, I think let me I have an article that I can share with you guys, right? I'll probably post it inside the live chat. So I guess how to be a Google developer expert, right? Experts. So there's an article written by someone, Firebase developers. So this is an article written by Jeff Delaney. I don't know what's his name, but basically he is Fireship.io person. Okay, please scroll how to perfect. Okay. Alright, let me answer this question first. How to become a Google developer expert, a practical guide. So he really talks about it. He made a video about it. I don't know why people still ask about it, but it's okay. I guess if you don't know, you can just Google it, and there actually is an answer. So to be a Google developer expert, he also said that it's not a goal that he ever set it out, but rather it found me. So the following guide is for developers starting from scratch who want to someday join this career-changing invite-only program. So it's a program that's volunteer-based. You're not being paid. for you to just be in the community of the tech that you love. So for me, I love Flutter, and then I have the opportunity, to be a Google developer expert for Flutter. And I mean, that's a really good opportunity, and yeah, it's a invite only, so very exclusive. All right. So I think it is a global program to recognize individuals who are experts and thought leaders in one or more Google technologies. So these professionals actively contribute and support the developer and startup ecosystems around the world, helping them build and launch highly innovative apps, which I think that is true. So Google developer experts are, you could say, like, they are the experts of a certain technology of some sort. I don't know, I don't call myself an expert, but I would say that I invested a lot of time in Flutter, whether it is professionally or right now I've done it. I want to share, I'm currently working on production e-commerce. Right, Van Helsing, you are currently working on production e-commerce delivery app. Are you doing it as a side business, or are you doing it as your main freelance work? Van Helsing, if you can answer, that would be great. Yeah, I just want to know more about you guys. Yeah. So anyway, for a Google developer expert, a step-by-step guide. So before I go through this, all right, let me explain how the whole process goes, right? So experts, they have it in their website. So let me zoom in it for you guys, so you guys can see. There's a couple of processes and interviews that you have to go through. So the first one is application. So you just need to go through an application. And then the second one is an interview with external expert from a relevant area. So it will be from a Google developer expert from the relevant area or the relevant technology that you're interested. So I was interviewed by a Google developer expert who is into Flutter. So it's easier in a way that you're able to connect to the person to get to know more about like the technical or knowledge aspect of your own self, right? And then once you pass this, once you pass the application, and then you have an interview with another Google developer expert. And lastly, you will have an interview with a Google specialist. So I had an interview with someone in Google, and then we talk about Flutter and how what's the, what do you call that? It's just knowledge-based questions. Like, for example, in Flutter, right, like, what is your preferred state management and why do you choose? Something like that. So it's something very nothing out of the ordinary, I would say. So that is something that I think it was just very straightforward. The process really very easy. It's not like so complicated. Yeah. So the eligibility criteria, if you were to look at it, is to be a technical expert in a subject area. So like, for example, for me, Flutter, I've like worked as a software developer using the Flutter framework professionally. I've seen Flutter before its official release, and now it has grown tremendously, which I'm really excited about. Then also it displays continued activity in the startup or developer ecosystem. So I think this is really important. So one is that you can be really really good in Flutter, but if you do not showcase your expertise, right, then how do people know that you're an expert in a subject area? So they give you some criteria. So for example, being an influential and recognized speaker at a large and small tech conferences. So for me, I don't think you have to be influential or recognized, I would say, but if you are just starting out, you don't have to be influential or recognized. You can just keep on speaking at events, and it is more towards like, because for me back then when I was speaking at events before pre-COVID, right, I really just look for events to talk about Flutter. Like I didn't have anything in mind other than just talking about Flutter, because I think it's an excellent framework for you to build iOS, Android apps, and now you can build Windows, Mac OS, and websites, or even PWA. So like, it is like you found something that's pretty good or great, and then you want to like share with other people, so you always have that mentality when you find something great. So that's me back then when yeah, when I'm able to go to a physical meetup and speak. I mean, now I don't really look for, maybe when there's an opportunity, or if I chance an opportunity to talk about tech or in Flutter, about Flutter, or like Flutter in a startup thing, then I'll probably go, because yeah, I don't, it's just for me to just talk about Flutter. I mean, yeah, it's that simple, I would say. So the next thing, right, creating high quality technical content, including tutorials, code samples, educational books, blog posts, and videos. So high quality technical content, yeah, I mean, I agree on that, because I guess for me, this year I've been creating a lot of like Flutter video tutorials, and then some of them do well, some of them don't do well, but consistently I've been putting out about tutorials and such. And then at the same time, I do very little code samples, meaning that, for example, if I have a feature or a video that I want to showcase, for example, maybe back then Flutter web with Firebase storage, for example. So a code sample would be like a simple GitHub project that someone can follow along or can refer to, something like that. Next one is educational books. This will take a very, very long time to create, because I would say this is the same as, okay, this won't be the same, but in terms of like educational or something that is a lot of content, it takes a long time to do. So for me, I create courses on Udemy, specifically on Flutter web. So that is something, I mean, I never really talk about my courses that I sell on Udemy to the Google developer people or the Google people, but yeah, I mean, this will also help. And then blog posts, I think, is a very common way for you to share your technical expertise and also build up your influence as well. And lastly, video tutorials or videos that you talk about the tech that you are really interested or passionate about. So for me, I talk a lot about Flutter web and how it actually can kind of disrupt how we build websites, so like interactive website. I'm not talking about static websites. So like before then, I was just talking about like, oh, is Flutter web good or something like that. Then I would say like it is better than HTML, because in terms of readability, like you can understand how because it's I mean, HTML and Flutter is both declarative, but I would say Flutter is a much more I guess readable kind of like maybe I'm biased, so yeah, so you don't have to really talk about, you don't have to create tutorials, video tutorials, but you can like have a thought about a specific type of area in like Flutter or whatever, because I think opinions matter, because in the end is the people who uses it, or who uses the framework or tech or SDK or whatever, right? So it's something that you can do, like for example, oh, I don't like Flutter. Okay, why? It's like, oh, I've experience in this framework, and this framework has this specific feature that I really like, and I wish that Flutter has this kind of feature, and this will immensely improve in terms of development experience and whatnot. So there's a lot of things you don't have to like it's not like, yeah, like how I'd say you can do all of this at the same time. I think you can stand out from the rest by putting your opinions and make sure that you validate it, because sometimes some people just put out opinions without any like what they call that, research and whatnot. And I think as developers, we are highly motivated in terms of like seeing whether these research or benchmarks are actually true and whatnot, right? So a lot of things are like, because since these people are like they are people who, not say high quality, but they are people who invest a lot of time in in the tech itself. So like you must really have very good proof to state your point. I don't know lah. Because I remember there was one benchmark in state management, one of the state management in Flutter, and then there was a lot of like conversation about it, where whether it's inaccurate or accurate, whether it's realistic or not. So that's what I'm trying to say lah. Like make sure that your research has some backing, and like you can reproduce it, because it's like literally science. Like if something of this benchmark will work in another person's machine, then it's more credible. So it's the same as like if I were to, for example, if I were to stand in the sun with a black clothing, and I'm going to stand in the sun in different places, but with black clothing, it means that my black clothing will absorb more heat and trap more heat rather than white clothing. So it is reproducible, and the more you do it, the more credible it is. So that's the thing about it. But I'm going on a stretch over here. Sorry. And lastly, mentoring tech entrepreneurs, startups, and developers. So I think like some people might think that they are not up for this kind of thing, which I like. For me, I think I am, because I've gone through how to create a production level app in Flutter, and what are the different challenges that I face as a developer, and also in the business side of things. And at the same time, building this Learn Flutter app, I'm also reliving or going through the same pains of building an app, right? So this is something that I am looking forward to. Hopefully I have opportunities, and if you want some consultation, I mean, there will be another service that I'll probably do in the future, but not right now. Alright, so basically you just need to be displaying a consistent activity, showcasing that you are spreading the word of the tech that you like really much. Lastly, have the ability to articulate clearly and provide meaningful advice to others. Okay, so I guess I had some questions about this. So for example, like if I were to create a simple shape in Flutter, how are you going to do about it? Something like a technical question, but I didn't do any coding. I just explained, like for example, I mean the shape, the question that I said just now wasn't the actual question, but that is just a hypothetical question. And like for example, if I were to answer it, it depends on the shape. If it's a rectangle, you can honestly just use container. If it's like a triangle, then you probably have to use something, some sort of like custom painter. If it's a circle, I honestly will do a container, because I will do the most simplest way to do it, unless you have certain things that you want to control. Even if you want to animate it, you have animated container as well. And what's the other case? If you want a semicircle, I've done a semicircle before. I think I used a container, and how I did it was I just I manually created a pill shape, but a semicircle, that's a very good question. So what I will do is, like for me, the fastest way is I will find out whether the background is a consistent color. If it is, then I'll put a square and a circle together using a stack, and then it will look like a semicircle. Because if you stack a square with a circle, and then with the back so for example the background color is white, I will make my square as white, but it will be overlapped in front of the circle over here, so it becomes a semicircle. Make sure that your semicircle is a different color. So I mean, that's about it. So in summary, I'm like doing a video over here. In summary, right, you probably need to be an expert in the subject area, meaning that if I were to ask you a question, you probably can answer the question. May not be 100% true, but it can reflect on how well you are in the field. And then this is, I think, is pretty important, which also makes sense, because the more you talk about Flutter, the more you'll be an expert about it, because people will ask questions and then you will answer back, or you will find out the answer for the question. And then by having this answer and question, when you do it, whether it's in your videos, whether it is in talking or mentoring, then you're able to articulate clearly about the advice you give to others, right? For example, if people were to ask, should I go to Flutter or should I go to React Native? So like it depends, right? If you really want to have it depends on how a business want to solve the problem. If you want the fast way, so if you want the fast way, what's the product itself? If it starts with an app, I would recommend Flutter. If it started as a website app, so a web app, right, then I would recommend React Native, because if you want efficiency, and you don't want your developers to learn something new, which means you need more time to train them, then just use React Native for your web framework, which is usually the JavaScript web framework. So I talk a lot. Oh my god, that's a lot. Okay guys, I'm gonna answer some of your questions over here. Okay, so Van Helsing, I'm working currently out of job due to pandemic, so I'm hoping I can make money by creating an app delivery food that I also sell. So Van Helsing, Van Helsing. So an advice from me to you is that if you want to do this kind of like app, right? If you want to make money from an app, or if you want to try to do business, what I would do is that I will ask whether there's a demand for it, and if there's a demand, then ask them for their emails, and you can talk to them and such. So Mini Gig, can you please create a long series how to do perfect state management in Flutter? So Mini Gig, I'm actually creating a little course about it as well, using the provider package. So in my opinion, provider is something that you should have a basic understanding, because other packages that also are state management packages, right, they also use provider in their source code as well, because provider is that easy for you to understand. So that's why only thing I find hard is state management. I guess if you don't know what is state management and you are trying to learn state management, I would say state management is something that you have to grasp on. You have to just go through it and see how it goes. It's not for now, but I think I will create open source projects in kind. GetX a lifesaver. I've never tried GetX. Is it better than large app? I mean, I can skill GetX, and most importantly, it doesn't have much spoiler plate. Okay, thanks. I would love your content. Thanks, Datum Bronzer. Sure, there are resources on YouTube. Try it first on Sure, there are resources on YouTube. Try it first on simple app. Yeah. So I did agree to with Val Hensing. I'll call you Van. What I would recommend is, try on a very simple app. Slowly grow the difficulty of the state management that you're doing. Okay. So I've gone through the GDE quite a bit. So now I'm gonna go back on this experts, how to become a Google developer. Okay, I'm just gonna post this link. This is a good article written by the Fireship founder, and I think it's really something that you guys should read if you guys want to be a GDE. But I mean, overall, honestly, right, like I would like really stress on this, like the Google developer expert experience, I would say, is something that it's not a goal that I ever set up to achieve, but it found me. So I guess opportunity aligns itself, kind of. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's go through this article. So you become a GDE with a nomination from a Googler or Google partner who notices the awesome work you're doing. So what's the best way you can do, right, is, I think, honestly, for myself, creating YouTube videos, because it's easy to show your understanding of literally anything. So that's why. So you don't need to be an exceptionally talented hacker. I agree. You do need to love sharing knowledge. Yes, I love sharing knowledge. That's why I have a YouTube channel about it. That's why I'm doing it full time. And yeah, I don't really expect anything out of it. I just love sharing. So I was nominated mostly for creating the Fireship YouTube channel, building an educational community for developers working with Angular and Firebase. Yeah, so Fireship, right? He initially just created a lot of like videos about Angular and Firebase because he just loved it. So and then after that, he just branched out to like doing like JavaScript stuff, Flutter stuff, and what other interesting like content for his YouTube channel. but in its initial stage he just really loved doing Angular and Firebase. Alright, so let's start with the step 0, the mindset. Oh my god, I'm gonna talk a lot on this. Okay, so it starts with the right mindset. Consider goals below. I need to deliver my talk to a huge audience. I need this video to go viral. I need a huge Twitter following. I need to be internet famous. So I want to talk about Twitter, right? So a lot of people actually, or a lot of developers are in Twitter. So they talk a lot about stuff on Twitter a lot. And that's like a good way for you to interact with other developers. But I would say that this is not these are reasonable goals, but these are not the right goals, because numbers, I would say, are just vanity metrics, meaning that they are not very, very important, or they don't really show the underlying reason why you want to do certain things, right? So every GDE so I haven't met other GDEs yet, but for what's his name? Let me call him Jeff. Okay, so for Jeff, every GDE I met enjoys the crowd creating technical content and sharing with the community, which I totally agree, and I can't wait to meet other GDEs, honestly. And then people often ask me how to produce so many views. The simple answer is I enjoy the creative process no matter the outcome, which I totally agree. So I have just much fun making a video with 500 views as one with 500k views. I actually agree. So I think I've created a recent video about me trying to explain Dart future asyncs in rock climbing terms. Yeah, that was something fun and something that I really enjoy. I really don't like editing videos, honestly, because especially video tutorials, they're very mundane. They are like just coding stuff, and you most likely will see just one screen or maybe some slides, and that's about it. So in terms of the creative process that I go through, it's not as fun as I would like it to be, but most of the time I try to find ways to make it more interesting for me to bear, because editing videos is something that I don't like, and if I were to have a chance, I will hire someone to edit videos for me, honestly. But let's get back to the topic. So let's refactor our goals of very developer. I want to change someone's life with my talk. I want this video to be unbelievably helpful to developers like me. So I want to talk about this like helpful or valuable, I would say, to developers like anyone, right? So there are content on YouTube. I would say there are two types of content, I would say, in YouTube, right? The first one is I would say sugary or clickbait kind of content, where it's just for entertainment purpose and whatnot, right? And second is educational or valuable content. So like there are, each content has its own purpose, right? One is to entertain, the other one is to educate, because I believe there's only two types of content out there. And I, for myself, right, I definitely know what kind of videos I make, right, that can get a lot of views. But the thing is, I consciously make the choice, right, to not create viral kind of videos, or videos that I think will not add value to a lot of people, because I believe that because I mean I've been through the pain of being a developer myself, that actually educational videos actually really helped me understand certain types of things. That's why I built this channel, you know, to like create tutorials that people might not might find difficult in a specific kind of like question or topic or package or whatever, right? So that they understand, because a lot of times developers will just throw jargons whether they understand it or not, and then it doesn't help other developers to understand what the person is talking about. That's why I create videos like the most popular one that I built was the most unexpected popular one was provider simply explain. So I explained it using phishing terms, and then there's a lot of people who really commented very good stuff about it, because it is explained so in a unsurprisingly understandable way. So that's my goal, honestly, to like, you know, create content that people understand. And luckily I like Flutter, that's why. Okay, next I want I mean that's my beef about clickbait content. It serves a purpose, like, oh, it entertains, but in terms of like Learning stuff, not really. Yeah. Okay, next, I want Twitter followers because they find my insight valuable. I want Twitter because they find my insight. Yes. So for me, I don't know how I want to increase my Twitter followers. I mean, I do have my own like goals for followers on Twitter, but I just think yeah, being engaged in the conversation on Twitter and just being, I guess, genuine about it helps. Yeah. And lastly, I want people to trust me as a real human being. Yeah. So I think these goals are something that you can achieve very well. Yeah. So if these goals drive you, continue ahead to step 1. All right, let's go. Step 1, set a clear mission, something that you're passionate about. The more specialized, the better. So for Fireship, you want to be the best consultant, YouTuber, content creator, and advanced resource for developers building apps with Angular and Firebase. So I think having a clear mission or an objective or whatever, right, is really important no matter what you're doing, right? So this might not be even a coding thing. I'll code later. But yeah, so setting a clear mission or basically a specific clear mission actually helps. So whether you want to be a GDE, whether you want to be a developer in a very big what do you call it, very big company, you must have that clear mission. Like for example, if you want to be a developer in Google, right? I want to be a developer in Google working on the Flutter technologies, that kind of thing. So then it will be easy for you to, just look at that statement and make sure that this statement is somewhere that you always see, right? So for example, I have a whiteboard that's just beside me. I put my goals on the whiteboard, and then if I really am distracted or I'm detracted from the path due to distractions or like whatever going on, right, I will just look at the goal that I have, and then it will just bring me back to where I'm supposed to go. Yeah, so that's about it. All right, so your chances of standing out is much greater when you're very specific. I do agree. So big product areas like web and Android are much harder to stand out versus small areas like Google Play, Assistant, TensorFlow. For me, right, I don't try to like find chances for me to become a GDE, like whether it's web or Android or Google Play or Flutter, right? My god, my drink just dropped. I would just like, if I'm very passionate about web, I don't care, I just do it. Like I don't like, oh, maybe I'll just go Google Assistant, but I'm really passionate about web. For me, I'm just like, okay, I'm passionate about web, I'm just going to do a lot about web. And if the Google developer people don't like me or don't choose me as a Google developer expert, then it's okay. So you just move on and keep on doing every year until the Google developer or the Google developer team is like, okay, this guy has been doing web for 5 years, he's doing a lot of things to the community, I think we should add him or her. Sorry if I assume the gender, but yeah. So for me, I don't agree on this because I mean, I'm lucky enough to know like, oh, I know Flutter when it's like the baby stage, that kind of thing. Yeah, but either way, yeah, I will still do Flutter. Even if Flutter is matured, I will still do Flutter, I think. Yeah, unless Flutter do something that I'm not really happy about, but we'll see. Next, build a portfolio. So you need a certain amount of reach within the developer community. Choose 2 or 3 metrics below and try to maximize them with hard data where you think you can make the biggest impact, which I do agree, because sometimes you can say, oh, I've done a lot of talks, oh, I have a lot of people reading it. Okay, sure, I like what you're talking about, but you gotta have some evidence, right? So article reads from blogs, video views from your YouTube channel, public speaking audience size. So public speaking audience size, I think it's some sort of a factor, but quality over quantity. Next is podcast downloads. I mean, obviously, if a video views has like a lot of views, then it is credible that what you are trying to share is very applicable to what a lot of people are trying to, search on YouTube, for example, right? Books and course purchases. I should talk about my courses. Never mind. GitHub contribute. Oh, GitHub contribution. GitHub contributions are pretty. It's like you are so in love of a product, you want to also change it to something better. You know, for example, for me, I don't do a lot of like pull requests or stuff. I do a lot of issues, because when I do stuff, I just go to the issues. I'm like, why is this not working, kind of thing. So if you have something that you want to like fix, something that you want to improve, then doing a pull request will really help, right? So that's why you have like GitHub contributions. And you don't even have to, like, for example, for Flutter, right, you don't have to go to the main Flutter page. You can go to like different packages and contribute it, because once you are building the ecosystem for the Flutter, once you are helping to build the Flutter ecosystem, it helps Flutter generally, big picture, right? You don't have to like I need to, like, you know, you can just add a simple, like, for example, there's a date utility library in the pubdev website, so you can add another like function that I think will be useful to a lot of people, maybe like years in BC or whatever, so something like that. I'm not sure. Stack Overflow wrap, I mean, if you really like answering people's questions, then I think this is really good. And lastly, social media engagement, so like your Twitter following, like a lot of developers are on Twitter and they are very active, so you can just tag them, ask questions. You can also, you know, communicate. You can also add to the communicate. You can add to the conversation that they have. For example, sometimes the developer in the Flutter team will ask, oh, what feature are you looking for? And then you can just answer back, that kind of thing. Yeah. Alright, coding start asks, can you make a VPN app, or is it possible? VPN. So I know this is like VPN. So I'm not sure how to create like virtual private networks. So if you guys can't see, VPN is virtual private networks. So they are a tool of a web server that can have. So you are trying to build a website. No, you're trying to create a web browser with private networks. If I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm not wrong. VPNs just redirects your IP address to somewhere else, so that people would not know your actual IP address, right? So you can serve CD, public Wi-Fi, more security and privacy. They can even use to get around firewalls if your work has saved Facebook block. Yeah, so it's like the location of your connection will be changed. And then, for example, if they have firewalls, right, firewalls will just detect the IP address and the website they're going to. So if you change the IP address, then it will not block the Facebook. Okay, let me just Google how VPN works, right? And then, okay, so another tip on how to learn stuff, right, for me, right, is that I would not go to the definition, because I don't understand. I'm a visual learner, so I go to images, and then I will understand on how things work. So for example, like here, VPN, it protects you from hackers, government. Sure. Okay, this seems more understandable. So you got your computer, and then you got the internet service provider, and you have the VPN server, and then you have the internet. So you go through the internet service provider through a VPN server, then it will actually, oh, it encrypt the traffic, and then this is the VPN tunnel. Also, it encrypts your traffic some sort. Okay, let me try this. So you know VPN, you go straight forward, you go straight towards the internet service provider, and then you go to the internet. So it's insecure because you have this unlocked stuff. But for VPN, you will go to a VPN client before you hit the internet service provider, which encrypts your connection. And then at the same time, so your VPN client will live in your local machine, I assume. So then it will hit to your internet service provider, and then it will go to a VPN server. So this will basically make it like it will hide stuff from you, and then basically the internet will talk to your VPN server. Kind of understand. I mean, if I want information, then I'll probably, yeah. So VPN creates a secure tunnel so that hackers can't steal your data, your internet service provider can't see your data, government can't see your data, and then you can just access it through the website operator. Cool. Brave browser founder. Okay, so getting back to the question, is creating a VPN app possible? Well, I think it is, because you just have to create a VPN server that you need to connect a secure tunnel or tunnel that nobody can hack. So I think it's more towards a lot of back end stuff rather than front end, and Flutter is a lot of front end stuff. So that's my opinion. I'm probably wrong, but yeah. Okay, let's go back to GDE and let's go to step 3. Okay, so now you build your portfolio, obviously. So for example, your article reads must have a lot, video views also as well, podcast downloads, whatever. Next, you need to create quality content consistently. I cannot stress the word consistently. So I mean, like for me, right, back then, I think when I was not creating my YouTube channel, when I was talking in physical locations, right, I will talk in an event once per month. Yeah, so I will have like a talk here, next month I will have another talk, next month I will have another talk, because I actively look out for talks, not because I want to be a GDE, because I just like sharing. And I'm very funny on stage. I'm freaking hilarious. Okay, so the two most important things are quality and consistency. Okay, so I would say that sometimes people think, sometimes the word quality might make people like, I need to be good. Not really. You just need to be consistent, because everyone start shit. Nobody started like a polished plate. The plate starts off as a grain of sand. So that's the thing. Like for example, my YouTube videos when I started was shit, because I thought videos that are short, that are fast paced, people will like it, but actually people don't understand what you're talking about if you're too fast. So by slowing down and then actually really explaining not say word for word, but part by part on a certain topic will actually help people understand. So by being consistent and being at the same time also reflect on the different videos that I've done so far, my quality of videos slowly increases as well. So I can't stress consistency. It's something that not a lot of people have, because they have other priorities, which is fine, but I would say consistency is really, 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 really important. Like for my YouTube channel to grow to this amount of subscribers, thanks to you guys, I would say that consistency really plays a part. I think the most consistent or the most consistent amount of videos I get per week, or I produce per week, right, is like maybe 3 to 4 videos last time. Now it's fewer, lesser. It's because I'm trying to build a course, right? So that's why, but I will still post. That's the thing. So the most efficient path is public speaking. If you manage to get a CFP accepted at a few CFP, what CFP? Certified financial planner? No. Managed to get a CFP. I think it's something proposal, right? Conference speaking. CFP speakers. I know what CPF are, but I don't know what CFP. Conference. Call for proposals. Oh my god. Okay, so if you have a lot, if you manage to get a few call for proposals, then you probably get noticed by the right people. Start small with local meetups, which I did, and if your area doesn't already have a meetup, start one, which I agree. So, but speaking only reaches a very small slice of the total audience. You can still become a GDE without ever landing a big speaker spot. I mean, the most amount of people that I talk to is maybe around 60 people live. Yeah, so I never like gone on the big stage before. I would love to, but yeah. So start a YouTube channel. I agree. Blog, like you have the internet, you have YouTube, just do it. So just do it well and strive to be the absolutely best in your niche. My god, I mean, just do your best. Yeah. Alright, Van Helsing, Harris, may I know what's the main way to monetize your Flutter skill? Is it your YouTube or your teaching or your freelance? That's a bad question. First, you need to know what you want to, how you want to showcase your Flutter skills, I would say. Like for me, I'm all about education, right? That's why I started a YouTube channel. That's why I create courses. That's why I have a newsletter. That's why I'm creating an app to teach people about Flutter. So it's not about what's the main way of me monetizing my Flutter skills. It's more towards what's like my purpose for living. Like as deep as it is, it's true. So rather than thinking about the how, think about why are you so interested about Flutter. For me, it's just this. It's not really Flutter, but it's the education part that I'm really interested. So basically, I like teaching. I chanced upon teaching when I was when I was in high school or something. Then I just liked it. I was teaching drama at first, and then I volunteered to teach coding to kids, and now I realized that I chanced upon Flutter, and I realized that I like teaching, and why not just do it? And then by chance and luck and whatever, math and probability, these two things combined together, and somehow there is an opportunity for me to make a business out of it. So no matter what, your purpose will always be, or your purpose will always be the answer first, and then you can figure out the how to do it and what to do. Because if you don't have a clear why, it's pretty hard. Because for me, a lot of things that I do has always the main purpose to educate. I have a YouTube channel because I want to educate. I build courses because I want to educate. I created a newsletter because I want to educate. I'm trying to create this Learn Flutter app because I want to educate. So everything has the same reason. So you probably have to find what you want to do. If you are like a creative person, if you like to create stuff for other people, then you can be a freelancer. If you are like me and you really like education, then go for teaching or YouTube, because YouTube is just a platform for you to have people to know more about you and your brand. Yes. So okay, so I mean, other than this deep talk, a YouTube channel will be great, because it's easy to access what you have done so far, right? I mean, you can also share your blog and courses as well, but the most obvious is YouTube channel. Why? Because YouTube channel, you can see the amount of views, or the people in the Google developer team or Google developer expert team can see how many views you get for the video that you post. For like blogs, it's a little bit hard unless you have the views out, but I think not a lot of blogs have that. Yeah, for obvious reasons. Actually, why not? I don't know. You have courses, Twitch stream. Maybe I'll do Twitch stream, I don't know. And or you have a podcast, right? So do it well, strive to be the best, be consistent. I would say just be consistent, and once you see something that works, then double down on that, and then we can go on it. So it helps to have guest post content in places that already have traction. Like, why not contribute a post on Fireship.io? Yes, definitely you can contribute posts on Fireship.io if you want. So there are a few people out there who contributes as well, right? Okay. Also contributing to open source. It doesn't have to be the actual framework like the Flutter GitHub page. It can be like packages as well. So an impressive Stack Overflow profile is also a powerful asset. I don't have a powerful or impressive Stack Overflow profile, honestly. I only answer a few questions. I also ask a few questions, and that's about it. I don't really have a lot. So don't be so stressed if you want to be a GDE. Okay, step 4. So once you build a portfolio, it takes a long time to build a portfolio. Okay, it took me like 6 months to get my first 1,000 subscribers. But anywho, impressive. You need to have the right people to take notice. So the best way to make that happen is to attend conferences, live events, or better yet, speak at them. I mean, it's good to attend, but the whole point of attending these conferences and live events is to network. So you literally have to talk to people. Now we don't have the opportunity to do that, but you can definitely hit people up on like LinkedIn, which is it's meant for like professional like conversations, like, oh, what do you do, kind of thing. Or you can go to Twitter, but Twitter is more like hybrid, a hybrid of professional and personal kind of thing. So for me, it is just a nice, it's like an alternative, less professional network for you to know more about people who are interested in a specific tech, right? Yeah. So reach out to GDEs, I guess like myself, and then leaders of Google developer groups. Yeah. So tell people about your mission from step one and cool stuff you're working on. Don't be afraid to ask for advice and express your interest in becoming a GDE. Yeah. So most of the tech community prefers Twitter. Oh yes, correct. Yeah. So Twitter is the go-to thing. Use it tools to share content and connect with the right people. What is this link? Oh, himself. Oh my god. Okay, cool story, bro. Not critical, but the more followers you have, the better. True. Yes, it's definitely true. In my case, the Googler who nominated me was familiar with my YouTube channel and reached out one day. Do you have any interest in becoming a GDE? Yes, I think that's really something that I think will really help. So I was approached. I didn't really apply. So I just wonder, right? So Van, don't worry so much of. In a real scale, real talk. Yes, you need to survive because during this pandemic, a lot of people got laid off. But this is the best time for you to really just reflect on what you want to do with your life. Really, I can't stress this enough. Like, life is more than money. But for now, if you really have no money, then you search for money so that you can think about the question of what you want to do with your life. But if you have money that you're surviving on, or you're living with your parents or people that are able to support you in this time, you without a job, then what you can do is just like think about what you actually want to do, that kind of thing. But if you don't have money and you are really finding a job, then find any job that is very close to what your ideal job is. Like for myself, right? Once I finished my programming boot camp, I wasn't so concerned about the pay. I'm more concerned about getting experience. So I'm okay doing internships, even though I was out of I didn't really have a degree. So I guess it's really hard for me, but I was lucky enough to get an internship in a tech company, and then that's where I learned that I like teaching as well, because it's a tech company that teaches in schools about like coding. So I really liked it. Then I wasn't paid as a full-time pay, but I was interning there, and I really liked it, and they were really helpful. And then when I was working as a startup developer in the Flutter as a as a software developer in a startup using the Flutter framework, right? I also started as an intern because I knew and I was self-aware that I needed experience, right, for me in the Flutter framework, because that's what I cared about. And then after like 3 months, and then they offered me a full-time position, and I took it, and it was really something that I really enjoyed. So I know this pandemic is not something that everybody wants, but there's nothing more you can do about it. So that's why. So just get any job that's closest to what your ideal job is. is, even though it doesn't pay you a lot. At least there's money coming to. Yeah, I mean, that's just my personal experience. Okay, anyway, so yes, so for Jeff, he's highly skeptical if he would even be qualified. I did have some doubts about me being a GDE, because I'm like, I have like a lot of some experience where people say, okay, you are confirmed something, right? And then in the last minute, oh sorry, you're not actually selected for some reason or another. So I had that thought in the back of my mind when I was going through this GDE process. I'm like, I think I might not be able to go through it. But in the end, yeah, I went through it, and then I didn't really expect things like, even when they say your interview is successful, you pass, I'm like, okay, maybe the last minute, okay, you won't be inside the GDE expert. So like, I always had that doubt, because I don't want to hype myself so much about this GDE title, so I didn't even post anything about it. That's why. Yeah, no problem, Van, no problem, I feel you basically. Yeah, because there was times where I didn't I didn't earn a lot, so yes, I don't want to go there anymore. So I just wanna, do my own thing and such. Okay, anyway, moral of the story: if you are doing the right things, if you are doing the right things, the networking aspect should fall into place. I can't agree more on this. Like, if you are doing the right things, the networking aspect should fall into the right place. So for me, it's like I've been just going for talks whenever I can, whenever I'm available, and then like people somehow see you as like, hey, Haris do a lot of talks in Flutter. Okay lah, maybe I just hit him up about Flutter, see whether I want to be GDE. Yeah, so yeah, and lastly, preparing for the GDE interview. Yeah, so congratulations if you have been nominated, but you're not done yet. It may take a few months for an internal review, at least interviews, and possibly other hoops to jump through before it's official. The first interview will be with an experienced GDE, and second is a Googler from your product area. Yep, correct. That's correct. At this point, important syndrome will be hitting critical level as you prep for what feels like a once in a lifetime high pressure job interview. You're overthinking it. I do agree. Yeah, you are probably overthinking it. If you made this far, just be yourself. Yes, I didn't lie about myself. I just if I say I don't know, I will say I don't know, because there are certain things Flutter that I really don't know. So just be honest. Yeah, people prefer honest people. They already like your moves. No need for whiteboard problems or brain teasers. Yeah. So the thing about it is like, it's the same as when somebody is what do you call it, hate hunting you. They already want you in the program itself, whether it's for an interview or a company or even GDE, right? When somebody hate hunts you, you already go over the mental convincement. Is convincement a word? Let me search it up. Holy shit. I'll probably do about this convincement. Oh, it is so cool. Okay. So, oh no, I don't want news. The action of convincing. Yeah. So if someone wants you, right, then their level of convincement to want you over a program or company or a job, right, is it's what do you call it? It's already overcome, because right, for GDEs, there's a lot of people who are applying to it. But if you are nominated, the chances of you being a GDE is even higher, because it's not like they will like, oh, this guy looks good, or like they will do some research about you and then like, okay, I think this guy is perfect for this role, then they will headhunt you, that kind of thing. So like for me, I guess like this will be like the greatest compliment, or like oh, we want you to be in this. That means like they already know that you're some sort of that level, and then they want you in it, that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. All right. Anyway, Syndrome will be if you made it this far, just be yourself. Yup, they already like your moves. No need for wipe. Yup. So my first interview took place in person over lunch with GDE based here in Phoenix, Arizona. We chatted about tech and eating tacos. It was fun. My second interview was with a developer advocate from Firebase over video chat. Again, an easy, fun, and conversation. So, oh my god, why am I talking like that? Okay, so both of my interviews were obviously video chats because of the pandemic, right? Bopian, no choice, but it's okay. I mean, either way, just be yourself. What it's like to be GDE? Okay, so I don't have experience being a GDE because it's only been less than a month that I've been a GDE, but yeah, so there are some perks of GDE that you can participate or be involved. So I think the best ones, right, the validation that you get from what do you call that, Google, is the badge. You know, I want this badge so bad. No lah. But for GDE badge on your personal profile is something that not a lot of people can get, or it's like a stamp of approval, I would say lah. So as a content creator, it is extremely valuable because it validates your qualifications. Yes, it does. It does so well. Yeah, and put it on your resume to stand out and negotiate a higher salary. So if you have a GDE, if you have a badge, or you have the what do you call this? Qualification. It's not a qualification. Basically, if you have this and then you are applying for a job, you definitely can negotiate a high salary because you can literally say, I'm a Google developer expert in whatever technology, maybe Angular, Firebase, or Flutter, right? Second is travel and public speaking. So you want to travel the world and give conference talks. When speaking about your product area, Google may reimburse your travel costs. Well, in this pandemic, I'm not traveling anywhere, but that's a fine. I don't give live talks often, but this is an amazing perk for public speakers. Not to mention, being GDE will likely increase your CFP acceptance rate. Yeah, I should, definitely go for some call for proposals kind of thing, but that's fine. Yeah, I mean, definitely I want to do this a lot more because I want my Learn Flutter Code brand to branch out so I can, teach whether it is people, like normal people, or even like businesses as well. Okay, next, access, right? You sign a non-NDA or non-disclosure agreement when becoming a GDE. They may provide access to private alpha programs for your product specialty. This is fun because you're a big fan of obviously I'm a big fan of Flutter, so anything that I can grab onto Flutter, I will love it as well. So because it gives you some influence over the direction of the product. Yes, definitely. You will make friends with Googlers and be invited to conference calls to chat about cool new features before they become public. So that's something that I have went through. So I was invited to a conference call with Googlers and the other GDEs, and we talk about Flutter, and yeah, there isn't, I can't say NDA. No lah, we were talking about about Flutter. That's all I can say. I don't know how much I can say about, but yeah, it's really cool to see the people you watch on YouTube channels. Like, you can literally talk to them, which is great. Next, events and networking. Googlers host an all expense paid GDE summit every year. So I don't know when is the GDE summit. Probably will be updated, which is great networking opportunity to meet fellow experts. I think currently what do you call that? Currently pandemic, so I can't travel. Sad, but yeah. Last year there was a summit in Mount View and Toronto, but it was Poland in the year prior. So you might also get a ticket to Google I/O, not guaranteed. Yeah. For me, I'm not expecting a lot of this. The only thing that I'm really happy is just the badge and the validation. That's it. A lot of these are like perks, which is great and such. Like I really like the access. Like, I at least know where's the direction of the products going, and I can have some input as well because they trust the experience of the developer experts, and then they will just think about it as well. So having like events and networking or travel and public speaking, I'm not like like for me, I'm a bit weird. I don't really like to travel around the world because I mean, it's nice. I've traveled to other countries before. It's nice, but I'm not like oh, I want to go travel overseas kind of person, you know. So yeah, I mean, if it happens, it happens. I'm okay. Next is validation. Yeah, I think this is something very important, right? So the most benefit that nobody talks is career validation. And yes, we programmers suffer from imposter syndrome. If you don't know what imposter syndrome is, basically thinking that you're not worthy for the role that you have. So for example, for myself, being a Google developer expert, I think when I was in the process of interviewing, I'm like, do I really sound like a Google developer expert? Am I really one? But once you're validated, then it's like, okay, yes, I am a Google developer expert now. So yeah, you're now less pressure to prove your aptitude as well. So it sounds cliche, but if you can do it, if I can do it, you can too. I have no special talents or advantages. I did not start with any context of Google. I agree on that. Yes, I simply love the craft of the software and development. Work hard to share what I've learned with the world. Yeah. So I think that's about it. Like for the I guess in summary, I will really stress on this point, right? Being a GDE, right, is not a goal that I've ever set out at all. Like it's something that I just just do, and then it found me, and then I'm like, oh cool, yeah, sure, why not, that kind of thing, because it's like I like or love Flutter enough to make a career out of it, whether it's professional or my current business, right? So yeah, so but if you really want to be a GDE from the get-go, then there are these different steps that you can do. Like I guess once you are really motivated about something, right, or a specific tech, you probably do some of this. I will honestly think about it. Yeah, you probably do some of this, like oh my god, I like Flutter web. I'll create an article about it because you want to share about it as well. Yeah, so I think that's about it. I'm so lazy. I think I don't want to code. Yeah, this whole thing takes me an hour. Yeah, so for me, from my experience, it's like by chance by chance I was approached by the Google developer group lead manager kind of person for this GDE thing. Then I'm like, cool. And then after that, I just went through the application, see what are the different things that the different what do you call that? The different portfolio that I have, because they want to see proof about it as well. So having a YouTube channel really, really helps, because like I say, anyone can see how many views you get for a video, and the video views speaks a lot about what are the specific things. I mean, video views talk a lot about the amount of people interested about the topic that you do, right? So for example, a lot of people are interested in Flutter web. So if you do stuff on Flutter web, a lot of people do it, and then they will probably ask, what is Flutter web, good or not, that kind of thing. Hi Berkey, sorry if I mispronounce your name, but yeah, so that's about it. Like just keep on doing what you guys are doing. If you get it, good. If you don't get it, don't be discouraged. I do think that being a Google developer expert has its benefits. If you really want to be a Google developer expert, then share as much as possible in your own capacity. And if you have internet, if you're watching this live stream, you can just create a weekly video about your specific or Flutter stuff, right? Yeah, that's what I did lah. So yeah, that's about it. I think I will end this live stream without actually creating the Learn Flutter app. I should have just put how to be a GDE live stream. Yeah, so that's about it. I'm not gonna post this live stream. Okay, bye bye.